Alright, this is Andrew with Jodo Home Inspections. We're here today in Washington Terrace doing a sewer scope. We've got the camera pushed all the way out to the city line. We're at 186 West, 4650 South, and today is May 26th, 2022. Now we're going to pull it back, record it, and see what we find. So this first connection point is called the nose-on. This is where it goes from your lateral line into the main city line. Looks like a good connection there. This is transite pipe. It's cement asbestos, common for the age. The camera head that I'm using will not correct for the top of the screen. And so if you notice water running down the top, it's because the camera's flipped over. I had to use a smaller camera head to get through this line. I went through a spot in the basement where you would put a toilet, and it makes kind of a sharp turn, so I had to use this smaller camera head to be able to get through it. Those are some roots. These ones are small, but you do have some bigger ones as well. I would recommend having this line cleaned out to get all. There's a bigger one there. You want to get all these roots removed, preferably hydrojetted or ideally hydrojetted. That way it'll blast everything out, as opposed to a cable, which sometimes will just punch a hole and not necessarily get everything out. And then also with a hydrojet, it'll usually include a scope. That way they can look at it and be sure that everything's got out. And they can also look at any areas that are concealed today by these roots. So another good sized one. It's a good sign that it's not causing it to hold water or that waste is not caught on it. Once you have roots, you're always going to have roots. There's a bigger one. And so it's important in the future to maintain it and have it cleaned out periodically. Some people get it done every year, others every couple of years. Sometimes you have to go more often. This is cast iron. Cast iron is usually the weakest link because it gets very rough and rusty. It'll eventually get to where you can get waste caught in it because it starts to flake and it gets rough and catches debris. You can have it coated, which is where they cut it with a chain cutter, and that helps make it smooth again. As far as cast iron, though, that looked pretty good, except for this very last spot. If you were to put a toilet in the basement, I would recommend having this portion cleaned out. You have a lot of buildup right there, and so it'd be good to blast all of that out, and that'll help prevent a blockage. So just to recap, you have some roots, and then you have some buildup right underneath the basement slab where the toilet would drain. I'd recommend having all that cleaned out, and that'll prevent a blockage in the future. It is original line, and so eventually that cast iron will need to be replaced. I would recommend getting the insurance on the line if it's available in this area. I'm going to end this recording now.